Yes, and we're back. We have more of the standard deck type for murders at Karlov Manor, and this is another list from the TCG player where they posted about 50 plus deck for deck tech in the coming set, and they call this one as the Naya Elves, and of course going with tribal. And we know that the new set is having a special pre-release card specific kind of deck, in which we have this card that we are built around with, which is called the Voja, Jaws of the Conclave. So this is that of the Naya colors. It is a legendary wolf creature. It's a 5 to cast for 5/5. Vigilance, Trample, Ward 3. It's very specific and hard to deal with. And whenever it attacks, put X plus on counters on each creature you control, where X is the number of elves you control, and draw a card for each wolf you control. So how do we work around with this build? So we have this list as submitted and suggested by this reference from the TCG player, is that we have a variance of elf ramping up and also doing some kind of a curve, aggro curve perhaps, and it's composed of 29 creatures on this list and 6 enchantments and 25 lands. We have not yet given a sideboard, but we're still going to delve each of the card choices. So we're going to start off with the Golgari. So this is just a 2-drop for 1 with the Alliance trigger that whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, choose one that has not been chosen this turn. So we're going to go with adding +1 counters on Golgari, making it bigger and better in attacking. Also getting you a tap treasure token wherein you can still have this one as a ramp and later on use it to go into casting Voja earlier, and of course mana fix because of the tribal 3-color mana setup. And then you also have the option to gain 2 life in any dark situations wherein you need to go with the damage race. And with that 4 copies, we've also added 4 copies of Lone Speaker. So this is also a ramp on its own because it can add 1 mana of any color. It is also an elf and can have it activate a land you control, a 3/3 elemental creature with haste. And also we have this Dominaria United uncommon Yabimaya Iconoclast, wherein can also have this one kick for red. It will become a 4/3 trample with haste. So for a normal 2-drop, it's just becoming a 3/2, but given that you would need to go aggro, then having it kick with haste would be your best option for this card. And also we have added 4 copies of the Brazen Upstart. This is another uncommon from the Seeds of New Capenna. This ability that is can basically become a 4/2 vigilance that when it dies, look at the top 5 cards of your library and then reveal a creature card from among them, put it in your hand. So at any situations where you can just aggro on early and trade with of your opponent's creatures, it will also have this die trigger to replace it in putting it into your hand and put the rest in the bottom at random order. And also another option here, which is also a unique elf, which is an elf fox knight, is a playset copy of the Merfolks bodyguard. So this is a 3 mana 2/2 flash creature that can exile up to 1 other non-fox creature, and also you can pay 2 to sacrifice it to gain 2 life. So in any way, removing some relevant creatures from your opponent's board would be enough for this aggro deck to be more efficient. At the same time, it goes well with the tribal setup of the elf, and which the 2 white mana would be somewhat easy to fix for that kind of setting. And then we have 4 copies of Fleetfoot Dancer. This is basically an elf druid. It is a 4 to cast 4/4 trample lifelink haste, and also a good attacker on its own. It can basically curve out because this is the only 4-drop in the deck, and you can then follow up with Tosimir, Midnight Light, or Voja, Jaws of the Conclave. So again, Tosimir with the ability to create a Voja Fernstalker. So you can check the original art. Let's try this again. It will create a 5/5 green and white wolf creature token with trample. So whenever a wolf you control attacks, if Tosimir attacks this combat, target creature an opponent control blocks that wolf this combat if able. So in any way, it can also dismantle combat tricks and any champ blockers, for example, making sure that your opponent's best creature would be forced to block Voja Fernstalker. And also this is somewhat goes with the 3/2 lifelink, which also benefits in any damage race. So that set up with this, with the curve of Voja, we now go to the only 6 copies of instants in the deck, in the main deck. Basically, we have 2 copies of Get Lost for an efficient and solid creature enchantment and planeswalker removal. We also have 2 playset copies of Lightning Helix, so the reprint card is then given a spot in this deck, which can also deal 3 damage and also have you gain 3 life for that kind of setup. Now for the lands, you can see here a variance of the 25 lands, in which of course Cavern of Souls is your main setting for you to have fix for the tribal. So in combo for these cards, we have several dual lands sort of fix for these colors of Naya. So we have included 4 copies of the Copperline Gorge and Battlefield Forge, also 4 copies. This is to make sure that you have an untapped lands during your curve, so you can avoid any delays. And the only untapped, the comes to play tap land in this build is a playset copies of Jetmir's Garden. That's the Mountain Forest Plains dual land of the current format. So in addition, also we have 2 copies of Razorbird's Thicket and a check lands for Sundown Pass. That's also 2 copies. And of course, we don't really forget some channel lands included. You can just include the Empire and a copy of Busiju Endures for this build, along with some basics. That's 1 of copies of Forest, Mountain, and Plains for this deck, for a total of 25 lands build. And last but not the least, mana curve, we go with 2.89. It goes with mostly 2 mana, but this 2 mana line is basically very important for you to curve out early on, basically ramping into your 4 drops or 3 drops, ramping into a Fleetfoot Dancer, or going early with Tosimir and Voja from your top curve. And color distribution would have green of 25, white cards is 29, red is 15, but the fix is somewhat even, but only with this one, or these are just covered with this card for the covered that can basically add 1 mana of any color depending on the color of the tribe or the tribal creature type chosen for this build. And last but not the least are your 2 deck tokens on extras. We have a map token and a treasure token, and that's basically it for this deck tech. Again, Naya Elves, as suggested by the TCG player for Murders at Karlov Manor, standard format, and we're really happy to see this once it would be legal to play in standard, and you can see some gameplays a bit actual. Maybe we'll have this in arena, so just stay tuned for that one in our YouTube channel. Again guys, thank you for watching this one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, notifications on for future uploads, and see you guys on the next one.